was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. Was grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieve. That precious hour, that grace appeared, the hour I first believed. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. You know, this song was written over 200 years ago. I've heard it as a folk song, I've heard it as a hymn, as a gospel song, as a rock and roll song, and the song just endures, endures, and endures because it has a wonderful message. I've always loved the message, and I've loved the song. And frankly, it's an easy song to sing and play on the guitar, and that's kind of how I first picked it up. When I first heard this song, I was so young and naive that I actually thought it was about some girl named Grace. And I kept listening to the song, and I couldn't figure out why she was so amazing, but nevertheless, I love the song. And a few years ago, though, I stumbled upon the story about the man that wrote this song, and suddenly the song took on a whole new meaning for me. The man that wrote this song was named John Newton, and old John, 250 years ago, was a captain of a slave ship. And he would capture people in Africa and sail them to America and sell them into slavery. And that's how he made his living. I can't imagine a worse job to have, and a job that God would frown upon more than something like that. But yet that's what old John did. He was on one of his cruises. I think I've been on a similar cruise to one of the cruises that he was on, but nevertheless, he was in the middle of his trip from Africa to America, and suddenly he encountered this horrific storm out in the middle of the ocean. Old John, he thought he was going to die. And what do people do when they think they're going to die? John started praying. He lifted his eyes to the heavens, and he confessed his sins, and he promised God that if he was spared, that he would turn his life around and do the right thing with his life. And sure enough, God listened, and I've always kind of thought maybe God saved that ship, not so much because John was on it, but nevertheless, he saved them. And true to his word, John Newton, he turned that boat around and sailed those people back to Africa, and he let them go free. And he went off and became a minister and studied the gospel and started writing songs and hymns, and including this beautiful song. And it's a wonderful, powerful story about how it's never too late to turn your life around, and how God is always with you. And for the gift of turning his life around and making himself a better person, God gave him the gift of this song that has endured in all its different forms for hundreds of years, and will endure as long as there are people to sing it, I'm sure. That's not really what I wanted to talk to you about today. There's a second moral to this story that I think is even more important. And, you know, you look around the world, and there's things in this world that need changing. We can rattle them off, a laundry list of them, and they never seem to get changed. And the harder we try to change them sometimes, the more impossible, it seems, to get that done. And it gets to be frustrating. And I know that happened to me. And there was a time when I was young, and not 200 years ago, but a long time ago. And you know, you try and change the world, and you get frustrated, and then you give up, and it never seems to get done in a lot of respects, and that's just not a good thing. And the thing that I take from this song now is that before you can change the world, the second moral of the story, before you can change the world, you have to change yourself. You have to change your heart. Just like old John, you know, you have to change your heart. And if you change your heart, and if you ask for help from God, you can turn your life around. And you know what? If you make yourself a better person, you will instantly make this a better world. And if just one of us in this room does that this morning, thinks about something in our life that needs to be turned around, and do that, this will be a better world when this service is over. And can you imagine if we all do that? If all of us in this room do that, there's not one of us here that doesn't have something in their life that needs to be turned around. I know I do, and I'm sure all of us do. And if we just make that pledge this morning to make that change and ask for God's help, we can make that change. And you know, if we all do that, at the end of this service, and that door in the back opens up, and the sunlight comes in, we'll walk out into a better world. And what more could you ask for on a Sunday morning than that? So what I want you to do is think about those things in your life that need turning around. And just think about them. You don't need to speak them out loud. And when the song comes back around here on the guitar, when it comes back around here, if it comes back around on the guitar, sing it with me. Sing it loud. Sing it to God. And you know what? We'll have a better world. So let's just wait for it to come around here again on the guitar. It's coming. Amazing Grace. Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. Should I be lofted to the sky on flowery bed of ease, while others strive to win the prize and sail those bloody seas? Amazing Grace. Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. Was blind, but now I see.